Hi, I'm Brooke, and this is Maya. We love hiking, camping, kayaking, and everything outdoors. I recently quit my job on the East Coast in pursuit of exploring some of the most beautiful places in America. Come along on today's adventure, and before you leave, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. In today's video, I'm exploring Mesa Verde National Park in Colorado. So this is our first stop at Mesa Verde. This is the pit house from 600 AD. So these were built partially in the ground so that they were cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Here's a little picture of what it would look like. This was one of the first homes in this area. So from this house, they were able to tell that these people would store food for the winter. All right, so our next stop is Navajo Canyon Overlook. Just expansive views of this canyon. The Pueblo people lived here for over 700 years. Stop number 3 is Square Tower House Overlook. This is from 1200 or 1300 AD. So this is Square Tower House. There are 8 Kivas and at least 60 rooms. It also says that they built hand and toe holds into the cliff face to access these homes. They would scale the cliffs to get in and out. This tower here in the middle is 4 stories high at least that I can see. Up number 4, pit houses and pueblos. 700 and 950 AD. So here we have 2 pit houses. The first one was built sometime after 675 CE. And it says that there's evidence that it was destroyed by a fire, probably while it was still in use. This one on the right was built second, and it says this back here is ventilation to bring fresh air into the pit house. So here's a good visual of what the top of the pit house looked like. It was a wooden structure, and then they would cover it in mud, which would harden. The next stop is Mesa Top Sites, 900 to 1100 AD. So the cool thing about this structure is that there are at least 5 villages, and they were all built on top of the first one. During the time of the third village, they changed the way that they were building. They started using these tower-like structures. This is what remains of the tower today. This Kiva is even larger and deeper than the last one we saw. It was built in 1074 CE. That's what this massive Kiva looks like. You can see all the benches around the outside where people would sit. ventilation shaft here in the back, the fire pit in the middle. One thing I want to mention that we are loving about this park, this is a very different experience than what we had in Sedona yesterday. We're the only people here. We've seen maybe a handful of other cars, but we've had all of these sites to ourselves to explore. It's a Saturday. It is the end of November, so it's a little chilly. But to have all this to ourselves on a Saturday is amazing. Now we are at Point Pueblo, 1200 AD. So this site was a medium-sized Pueblo village. It was inhabited for less than 2 generations, and then they eventually moved into the cliff dwellings. So this is what's left of the tower, and then on the other side we have what is left of the Kiva. Alright, so now we are at Sun Point View, 1200 to 1300 AD. So this area had a lot of people in it. There are more than 30 cliff dwellings in this area, and they considered it a neighborhood.
Look all the way down there.
Here's a little picture of all of the cliff dwellings that are in this area. Alright, so when you look out into this canyon, you can see a whole bunch of cliff dwellings. We have one over here. We have another one next to it. Then coming over in the canyon a little, there's one back here. It's kind of hard to tell because it's in the shade right now, but there's a big one back there. If you come over a little further, there's another one back here. I missed one over here. I have no idea how these people got to this, but that's crazy. Look at that cliff face and look at where that cliff dwelling is. By the end of the 13th century, these canyons were quiet and the people were headed south. So over there's where I was just videoing. So we just came down this canyon a little bit further, and there are more cliff dwellings. These ones are a lot closer for us to be able to see. These were very intricate. Look at all of these rooms they have, all of the towers. These are multiple stories high. So after looking at this, it shows you where you can see the handholds. So if you look down here, those handholds we talked about where they would carve them into the cliff face to get in and out, there they are. That is crazy and awesome. They just carved those into the side of the cliff face to get in and out of their homes. Now we are at the Sun Temple, 1250 AD. So this Sun Temple is still a mystery to researchers. They have speculated that maybe it was for social, ritual, or symbolic functions, but they don't really know for sure. It also says that there's no evidence that it ever had a roof. at the inside of the Sun Temple. You can see that they built the structure out of wood and then added the stone and mud around it. Here's the other side.
In shadow over there.
So this is Cliff Palace. This is the big one you could see from the other side of the canyon, but you can see it a lot better from here. You can see how many rooms and structures they had, even in just this cliff dwelling. This is the Far View community. This is from 1000 AD. And it had at least 40 rooms on the ground floor. This is the Pipe Shrine House. They would use dryland farming techniques to grow crops. That's all for today's video. If you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe. We're headed to Moab next, so stay tuned for a video on that.